talk to you.
Hey everybody. Hey. Looks like I'm live on Instagram and live on Facebook. I am live. It's coming through. Yes. Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. It's Haja Scott. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing? I'm on live because I am like just popping up with a message, like, because it's been burning. You know how when you got something that's burning in your heart, is you feel it and you're like, I gotta share this. And so this is a message, like, y'all, we're in a new month. Okay, let me just stop and say this is December 2021. We are in a new month. Thankful for that, thankful because we're still here, and there are so many that are not still here, and we all feel that. We all have been touched by that. We know that. So it's December, y'all. This year's gonna be over. So I just had a word of encouragement. Y'all know how I am. I just have something to say that's going to encourage us to keep going and to hear what God is saying in this season. So this is December, and y'all, the month started off, and all I could hear was shift and build, shift and build, shift and build. So that's the word. That is the word. And so that's what I come to share with you today: shifting and building, shifting and building. It kind of feels like you need to do one and then do the other, or do the other and then do the one, and not together. But God is saying, can you do both? Can you do both? Shift and build, shift and build. That's what we're talking about. Can you do both? Can you move and build at the same time? And so that's just today what I just want to give a little bit of encouragement. Hopefully I will not be on long, and I'll post it out here so you guys can catch the replay. I know it's the middle of the day, folks are working, maybe you might be on your lunch break, maybe you just breaking but feel free to join me for this word, and I'll post it on YouTube as well, just because I want to share with y'all what God shared with me about shifting and building. So here we go. So this is really based in the book and the story of Nehemiah. And so the story of Nehemiah, as it goes, he was a cupbearer for the king. And I know this is not story time. I kind of miss story time. Maybe I need to come back and start doing story time. But he's a cup builder. He's a cupbearer for the king. And so he is one basically that tastes the wine, tastes everything to make sure that they're not trying to poison the king. What a job, huh? It's a whole other story. What a job. But so Nehemiah is compelled to do something. So he meets somebody from his hometown, Hananiah, I believe it is, Hanani, however you pronounce it. But he meets up with someone from his hometown, and it's in ruins. Jerusalem is in ruins. And he goes to God in prayer because this thing is on his heart and it's bothering him. And you know how, like, there's stuff going on in the world and it just gets to you. It's just that one thing bothers you. Some things don't bother you. Some things are not a big deal. Some things, they, how they say that's the deal breaker, it's the game changer, whatever, for you. Like other people, it could be something else, but for him, this thing bothered him. This thing got under his skin. This thing was making him feel like, I have to do something. We've got to do something. God, you've got to do something. And so he goes to God in prayer, and he prays and he fasts about this, and his heart is compelled to do something. That's how we know God is knocking on our heart, calling us to do something. It's time to build. It's time to build. There's something that I'm calling you to do. There is something that is needed. There is something that someone else needs that I need your hands to do. I need to put your hands to the plow. I need to put your hands to service in this. That's why you're feeling that burden. That's why that bothers you so much. That's why you feel like, now this thing, we're not letting it go. We gonna make sure that this thing comes to pass. We're going to make sure this thing is noticed. We're going to make sure this thing is something that we want to see done in the earth. And so that's where Nehemiah is. He's on the job. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. But a shifting is about to occur with this building, this thing that God is like building up in him first. There's a shifting that's about to occur. So here's the story. And one thing that I do want to say is that rebuilding as shifts occur, sometimes the combination is something that's needed to unlock a door. It's needed to unlock a new thing that God is trying to give you. So don't be afraid when you're feeling that burning inside, like, this is not something I have been doing before, God. This is not something that, why am I feeling this right now? You know? And it is because, again, he's establishing that passion in you, something that he's going to ask you to do, something that you're going to put your hands to build. But also know a shift has to come. And that's how the combination of the two will be able to move you forward. So just think about it like this before we go into the story of Nehemiah. So if we were shifting into a place, but they're shifting, meaning moving, we're walking into a new place, new territory, a new city, a new town, and nothing's done. There's no buildings, there's no nothing. It's deserted. Nothing is prepared. What are you building? You've moved into a new place, but nothing's there. There's no foundation, there's no tools, there's nothing. That's one way of looking at it. Also, what if we're building? We got this building, y'all, the Tower of Babble. What was that? You know, in the Old Testament. They are building. I mean, they got their tools. They probably like yay high. And then they realize we're in the same spot as we were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago. You're building in the wrong place. You've got to shift and build. And so that's why the two are needed. And sometimes they overlap. And sometimes that, you do a little bit of one, you do a little bit of the other. So don't feel off when you're like, things are moving, things are shifting. I feel like I'm moving into something new, but at the same time, I feel like I'm laying a foundation for something. That's called shifting and building. So here's Nehemiah. He is with the cup. He's the cupbearer. He's with the king. The king is like, wow, this is weird. You look a little like you got something on your heart. You got something to say. You want to talk. This is his boss, so he was kind of trying to be careful about it and whatnot. But he tells the king basically that, hey, my town is in ruins, and like I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good about this at all. And so I want to be able to do something about it. And the king's like, what do you want to do? That's where it comes. That's how you know, like, the shifting is God and a door is opening, something in your favor. Somebody who is somebody of influence, who can do something, who can help move something along, something that you might be sitting at the beginning of this thing. And you're like, I know that I'm supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z, or I feel a call to X, Y, and Z. I feel like I should be helping in this area, whatever, but I don't really know what to do. It's just there, it's just internal. It is just something that we're mulling over, something that our heart has. And the king is somebody, he's in power, right? What the king says goes. And the king looks at him and says, what do you want? What do you want? So, here we are. We're Nehemiah. God is asking us. God is compelling us to do something. We know it. We feel it. We're being prepared. We've been in prayer. We've been in, talking to God about it. He's been talking to us about it. We're doing the building. That preparation is just building before your hands actually touch it. And then you walk up on somebody. They walk up on you and they say, tell me what you want. That's when you got to be prepared. You've got to be ready because the door is opening. And he tells the king, he's like, okay, well, hey, I need, protection. I need wood. I need these supplies. He starts laying it out. Because he knows he's about to rebuild. God has been speaking to him about this thing, and you can't show up unprepared. You can't show up and be like, oh, I know I'm going to do something. Oh, I know something big is coming. Oh, and you're just talking, and you're just talking, and you're just talking. Where's your preparation? That's why we have to be behind the scenes doing our thing. That's why we have to be behind the scenes researching, behind the scenes looking into things, behind the scenes praying, asking for guidance, behind the scenes building up what we need to within ourselves, building up that character for whatever it is that we're going to be walking into. What kind of atmosphere is that? What kind of, job, what kind of industry is it that you're going to be in? Prepare yourself. Allow yourself to be prepared, because when the doors open, the last thing you want is to be standing there saying, well, what I think I might need, in X, Y, and Z. They're going to be like, you're not ready, but I will find someone who is. So Nehemiah tells the king what he wants. He has now placed that thing in the atmosphere. Doors are opening. He is shifting. He's moving. He's doing the shifting's about to happen. And the building is already happening. But this is how we're seeing it unfold. And this is how it unfolds in our lives. And sometimes we're like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, this thing is going so fast. Like, somebody approached me that I've got this deal. I got this potential whatever. And it looks like this thing's about to take off. And hold on, clutch your pearls. Girls, guys, do what you do, like, hold on, because this thing's about to take off. It is about to take off. These are the signs. And so anyway, Nehemiah tells the king that Nehemiah is sent off, and the king sends him off with what it is he needs to go and start building. So now the shifting is occurring. He's walking. He's going back to his town. He's shifting. He was in his old job, and now he's physically shifting into the new thing. Now the shifting occurs internally before we physically see it. And that's what we were saying with Nehemiah. He was shifting in his mind first. So he was shifting in his prayer. He was shifting in his fasting. He was shifting in his quiet time, in his meditation time, and understanding, I've got to change maybe what I was thinking I was doing. Every day he probably got up and thought about his job as a cupbearer and how he needed to prepare and whatnot. But now there's another task at hand. So you got to prepare your mind. First things first, he prepared his mind. He prepared his mind through his prayer, through his meditation, through his fasting, through his communion with God. And then he was shifted by speaking the thing. That's where he was with the king. The king asked him, what do you want? He said it out of his mouth. He spoke it. He told the king, first of all, the hand of the Lord is on me. And the hand of the Lord is on me to do this thing. He spoke it. That means he put himself in agreement with that thing. And so that is another shift. This is all internal. We think about, once again, building. There's a scripture that comes to mind. Who sets out to build without counting up the cost? So you got a job, a construction job, or whatever. Again, you're building. You're physically building something. You're adding on to your house. You're building a deck. You're doing whatever. Who starts to build and they don't think about what they need? Why would you not think about how much lumber you need? The nails, the screws, with all these things, I'm not that handy, but I'm learning. The little anchors, your tools that you need, your drill, all your different. Who sets out to build without counting up the cost? This is all the preparation. So we're seeing Nehemiah walk through exactly what some of us are actually going through, what God is walking us through. He is saying, hey, I want you to do this thing, but I want you to prepare. So I need some time with you. I need your ear. I need to start showing you some of the things that I have for you, that you're going to encounter. Some of the things that your temper right now, yeah, your temper right now, that's not going to cut it. So let's work a little bit on that. Yeah, your haughty attitude or your temper, or what about that temperament of yours to be like, I'm out. That's a real thing, y'all. It's a real thing. I'm not even gonna go into that for me. But like, your temperament to be like, this is not right. This is not what I want. I'm not feeling this thing. I'm out. You can't do that in the middle of a job. There is endurance that you have to have. There is longevity that you have to have in that thing. Let's pull out some of the fruits of the Spirit. There is, forbearance. There is the things that you're like, I might have to suffer in that thing for a little bit. These are things that God is preparing us for. You got to go and start working out in the heat, building whatever he's asking you to build. Meanwhile, you've been sitting in AC. You had a nice cushy job. God is saying, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself before you get out there and fail, or before you get out there and realize that this is too much. Before you get out there and you realize, oh, I don't really have what it takes. Oh, I got a splinter. I don't even know what to do with this. What? You better keep going. Where are your tools? Where are your gloves? So this is the preparation that goes on. That's what it looks like in our lives. It's not always I'm reading a book. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's like I'm resting because I'm about to run this marathon. Sometimes it's like, again, God is preparing us mentally. God is preparing our character. God is putting us in the right circles. Or he's all of a sudden we're just meeting people and information is coming to us and we're like, why do I keep hearing about X, Y, and Z? That's your preparation. And so this is what was happening in Nehemiah. And then he spoke that thing, y'all. Because at some point, we have to say, God, I agree with what you're saying. At some point, we have to say, yeah, I'll do the thing that you're asking. At some point, we have to say, yeah. And in that, he needs our words. Because before any king, influencer, a mentor, somebody that can move us to the next level or open a door for us or just move us along in the process, someone to drop those nuggets that we need or be some type of a guide for us, before that appears, he's got to be ready. We've got to be ready to speak it. We have to speak it. We have to agree with God on that thing. And so you see Nehemiah, he spoke it and then the king declared it. He decreed it. That made that thing, that made it real. That was the king had authority. Same thing what we're looking for. Like, we have to speak it out and God will come and he'll solidify that thing. So these things are happening spiritually, but they're happening in the natural. So let's see. Nehemiah's walking to his hometown. He's decreed the thing. He's been prepared, and now the shift is here. He's walking. He's in it. Well, I don't know if he's walking. He might be riding a donkey. Whatever. However he's getting there, But he's walking to that thing. Y'all, our feet start moving. Our feet start moving before you know it. Sometimes I'm doing something. I'm like, God, you moving me. Wait. I was just saying that I know we're about to do this thing as guys. Like, we prepared. We got you agreed. We spoke this thing. We put it out there. We on one page. We're aligned. That thing is moving. Move your feet, Haja. Move your feet. And so we start moving towards that thing that God is asking us to do. Whatever it is, whatever it looks like. I don't know what it is for you, but whatever it looks like, whatever you're building, whatever he's asking you to learn, whatever he's saying, hey, I want you to put your hands towards this, whatever he's saying in your next season, I'm going to use you in this area. I want you to learn this area. I want you to be aligned in this area. That's where our feet need to start walking towards. He gets to his hometown, and y'all, the news hits. Y'all know how it is. Y'all know how it is. The news has hit. Nehemiah's on his way back. He's about to rebuild some things. The very first thing that happens is the enemy is ready to attack. Y'all know that. It's a God thing you're building, right? God is getting the glory out of it. Whatever it is that you're doing. If it's, again, a new job, I'm a business owner, so I'm always talking about business and building and things like that. But it could be anything. It could be in ministry. It could be not in ministry. It could be what you think it's not. It could be just in whatever. But when it's a God thing, do not be surprised. And this is a key thing. Do not be surprised when you are met with opposition. Because that's what Nehemiah is about to run up on. Opposition. He hasn't even barely made it to the town yet. And they already speaking his name. You know how it is. They're already talking about you. I ain't really even announced anything. That's all right. Your name is in their mouth. It's happening in the spirit already. It's happening. And they're hating. They're like, he came to do what? He's concerned about these people? The Israelites? Jerusalem? Like we had them under our thumb. Like, why? No, we got to shut that down. And the haters have started. But Nehemiah is being led by God. And that's the important part. Is that in what we're doing, to be led by God. Because as we are led by God, he's going to open up our eyes to the things that are going on before we even get to the place he's asking us to go. It's raining. He's going to have us pick up an umbrella on the way. Poncho. We traveling with heavy clothes and we going into a desert terrain. He's going to have us strip what we need. You don't need it. Next thing you know, you're giving coats away. You're giving snow boots away. You're giving things away. You're like, why am I giving this away? You ain't going to need it for where you're going. Because he's being led by God. Because he is being, he's focused on the thing that God has him focus on. God is speaking to him. He's in his ear. That's so important, y'all, because there's so many voices. There are so many voices trying to get your attention. There are so many voices saying, you know what? If you only did this, you could probably X, Y, and Z. There are so many voices that are saying, they just got advice. They got the best way for you to do this. You know, when I was X, Y, and I'm not saying advice is not good. But y'all, first of all, it's not louder. It should not be louder than God's voice. And two, you got to take it through the funnel of God's voice. Is somebody just telling you something that you're like, well, God is leading me down to this desert, so I'm taking off my snow boots and my jacket and my cute scarf and everything else. And, you know, I'm like, I got my tank on, like I'm prepared for that terrain. And somebody is saying, oh, you're going to be cold. Don't you think you need to have a jacket? Don't you think you probably need to have an umbrella or something in your, no, I didn't ask you to guide me. I asked God to guide me. God is guiding me. And so because of that, Nehemiah was prepared for these little sneak attacks and things that were about to hit him. So when he gets to his hometown, he gets up in the middle of the night. You know how God is. He wants to speak to us in the middle of the night. You know, like, God, I'm sleeping so good. So good, you know? But he's like, hey, knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock, knock. That looks better. Let's talk. Because I have a little guidance for you. I got a little strategy for you. Here's what you're about to run up on. And we can be like, I'm sleeping real good. We'll talk at like 8 or 9, God. And God's like, you're going to miss it. And sometimes we miss it because of the simple fact that we're unwilling. At the times when we hear God calling us, we're unwilling to stop, be quiet, and be obedient to what he's saying. So it's night. Nehemiah gets out and he's like, I don't want anybody with me. I'm not even telling anybody what I'm doing. It's me and my donkey. We heading out. I want to check out the scene. You know how it is. Before you step into anything, hon, you better scout out the land. Come on, spies that Moses sent out to survey the promised land. Come on, like you better scout the land. Figure out where you're going into, who is there, who is stirring up some trouble, who might be an ally, who might not. Like, you better go in. You know, I tell everybody, but go in, and God's going to have you survey the area, survey what you're doing, get into the groove of things. Before you come out, before you say a word, before you post a single post, before you put a job application out, an ad, whatever, like before you do anything in that thing, God is like, I want you to see it with my eyes. So I'm sending you out so you can see. You're going to have a heads up. And that's what Jeremiah did. And that's how he was able to find out those people that said they were friends, and we'll talk about that later, who were actually really foes. Those people that for whatever reason, jealousy, you know, coercion, he had all kind of plots, y'all. Like, this is like soap opera, like digest. Like, so much was against him, and he was just there to start building. But this is his shifting. This is what happens in the shifting. God is getting you to the place. He's getting you familiar with the terrain. He's getting you familiar with the people and just kind of what goes on in that arena, in that atmosphere. But we're getting ready to build. Actually, building, the tool's already there. You're just trying to figure out and you're getting your game plan together. So meanwhile, they were there. They were, I'm going to end this story because Nehemiah is long. And so, you know, we'll do another, you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, there's one thing I'm thinking about right now, like who you building with. God was talking to me about that. Who you building with? So we'll talk about that in a later story. But right now, this is the shift. This is what happens in the shift. This is what happens in the preparation for building, for setting up that thing, for laying the foundation. Don't do it without laying the foundation. For laying the foundation of the thing that God is calling you to put your hands towards. So we got to embrace this notion. Know that the preparation we're reviewing right now, the preparation, the shifting begins in our mind first. It begins in our mind, it begins in our heart, it begins in our agreement with God. Yeah, that we're going to do this thing. And then it moves on to our physical. We speak it. The doors start opening, things start aligning. And when it does, we got to start walking. That's not the time to be hesitant. That's not the time to stand at the door and say, I know I'm going to do this thing one day, but just hold on. No, that's time to start moving. And then staying focused on God, keeping our ear to God, keeping our ear for the new thing that God is asking us to do and what it's going to look like. And when he's going to send us out into the territory, when he's going to send us out, or when he needs to send us out ahead of time, I'm saying, I want you to see some things that you wouldn't be able to see in daylight. With your normal eyes, you wouldn't be able to see that thing. But I'm going to give you an opportunity at night. I'm going to give you the opportunity to use my eyes. I'm going to give you the opportunity to use the eyes of the Spirit to see what's going on before you walk into that thing. This is what shifting and moving looks like. And we know that adversity is there. It's coming. Do not let that run you off. Do not let that make you stop in your tracks. Do not let that make you doubt the thing that you know God told you. The thing that he told you when you started out this thing. When that adversity comes, when that opposition shows up, because it's going to. Do not let that thing stop you. It is there because it wants to keep you in the same spot. It wants to keep us in the same spot. It wants to keep us in the old. When God is saying, behold, I'm doing a new thing. I'm showing you new doors. There are new things that you're going to do. Not so separate all the time from everything you were doing before. Sometimes it's just adding on to that. Sometimes it's something he had been telling you a long time ago, but it's the new thing. And in that new thing, do not let it dismay you or throw you off. Another note in there that I just want to say is that this is a continual path of life, growing from one thing to the next thing. As the Bible says, from glory to glory, level to level, we increase. That's the story of life. We could never just stay a baby. What good are we? How do we get to that place of walking out the promises of God over our lives? Walking in the purpose and the thing that God called us for? Walking out those destiny and reaching those destiny moments and walking out the things that are destined and have been predestined for us. That means this is a continual thing. We're going through seasons of building and then moving into the new thing and occupying that thing and working that thing and excelling in that thing. And then God says, I got something a little bit more for you here. And we go to the next level. This is the story of life. So this isn't a one-time thing. Embrace that. But in the season we're in right now, I know it can be hard because everything's all over. The economy's all over, things like that. But it doesn't matter. God can still be calling you to build, and he is. If he is, then these are your nuggets. That's all I have for you today. I'm going to give you some scriptures real quick. I referenced, of course, this is in the story of Nehemiah. We only really kind of went through 1, 2, and 3. Nehemiah 1, 2, and 3. Isaiah 43:19. I say that all the time. Behold, I'm doing a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. That's those doors, y'all. That's those doors. Luke 14:28 through 30. One thing I referenced. For which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it, lest after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all who begin to see him mock him, saying, this is the man that began to build, but was not able to finish. That's not what God wants for us. I don't know if I mentioned this one, but this is something that God was showing me in this as well. Yeah, this is kind of, I did talk about a little bit about the glory to glory. 2 Corinthians 3-18 says, but we all with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, let me read that better. I'm sorry. We all with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image of the Lord, from glory to glory, just as by the Spirit of the Lord. It's a better way. I think there's another one I put on here because that sometimes reads, the Old Testament reads a little whatever, but in the NLT, New Living Translation says, so all of us who have had that veil removed can see and reflect the glory of God. And the Lord, who is the Spirit, makes us more and more like him as we are changed into his glorious image. So that's all I got, you guys. Lunch break time, Wednesday wisdom, whatever you want to call it. It's a new month, December. It's the 8th of December, new beginnings, whatever you want to call this thing, we're in it. The change is here, the shaking and the moving, the shifting and the building, the spirit and the natural coming together, like it's here. So we might as well embrace it and move in that thing. Go to God in prayer. If he is talking to you about this, talking to you about your shift, talking to you about your moving, talking to you about the building, talking to you about a new thing that he's doing, because you're either getting ready to walk through that process or he's already walking you through it. So make sure you go through with him, focused on him and with him in your ear. All right, you guys have a good rest of your day. Get your holiday shopping on, your cookie eating and your baking, for the ladies, or whoever, that's because, we got some men out there that just be like tearing it up. I'll be like, yes, give me that sweet potato pie. But I'm a foodie, so I love my sweets, and I love holiday time. So you guys enjoy the holidays. I'm gonna be back because we are still on this building thing. I don't know when I'm gonna be back, when God says, but we are going to continue on shifting and building and what it looks like. And then the next time we got to talk more about who are you building with, because you can't build by yourself, but you can't build with everybody. Yeah, so that's a good one. Y'all have a good rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you soon.